So, welcome to the Saturday Jam session. The way these work is people have sent in some footage, and some of that footage, I'm going to answer everybody's questions that sent it in. I think you guys are the only here people live, so I'll answer. I'll take time to answer yours live. But some of your questions are going to be answered by addressing some of the other people's too. So, I'm gonna hop into that really quick. Okay, so this is one of the ones we want to look at. So, and I'll go quick here, but what we want to see is the way that I like to evaluate the swing is we're looking at the way little boppers hit. Okay, so these are guys under 6 feet tall who can still hit 25 or 30 home runs, and they do some things differently. And so I want to see does the pelvis coil. And so in the load phase of the swing with this kid, his pelvis doesn't coil as he goes backwards, and 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 he just strides forward. So this is what we call one way that the quad is loading. So this is a kid that needs some loading drills. So I forget this kid's name, but this is what we want it to look like. So do you see? And this is going to get to you in a second. Right here. Do you see how his knee doesn't go back over his ankle? And his hip
Yeah.
doesn't go over his knee. Do you see that?
hmm
The back knee.
The back knee. Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so that's what we want to have happen, and we want to have a hip coil. So this kid does a good job of not having his back knee go over his ankle, but he doesn't coil the hip. If we look at you, where are you? Your back knee goes over your ankle. Do you see that? So you're
Yeah.
both quad loading, but you're quad loading in a different way. So what we want to have is a glute where you're sinking down and into the rear glute. So for both of you guys, what I'm going to recommend you do is do some movement prep stuff. So this is one of the exercises, and so that is really good. So I think trying to teach hitters how to hit is like trying to explain to someone who's never had chocolate ice cream what chocolate ice cream tastes like. So I can't tell you it's cold and it's chocolatey because you don't know what chocolatey is like. So I like to try to use movement drills or movement prep exercises to make you feel what we're trying to feel. So this is one. What we are doing, you want to do this one on your load leg. So your right-hand hitter. So he's a lefty. So you're going to do this on the opposite leg, but you're going to take your right leg, put it on the ground, and you're going to take your left leg and you're going to be feeling what it's like to press it into the wall. Does that make sense? And then you take some sort of kettlebell and you are going to coil down and across and then feel it pump up. And what's going to happen is let me mute that audio. Didn't realize I was talking. You're going to feel a tightness around your rear hip. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we do this exercise first, then we put you in a load series of drills. So have you been in the members area?
Yeah. I have. I
Okay.
haven't shown them yet, but I have.
Okay, so to start, there's I like to attack this as several different phases, but like box number one is the load phase of the swing. It's like the first domino, right? So other things will fall apart if we don't get that right. So I like to try there, and then continue to build out the stuff. But what I'd recommend that we do with you is we start you on like two of our loading drills. So they're listed in there. You can go in, you can find the loading drills, and I'd recommend that you do the loading drills. But I'd also recommend that you do this exercise first. Don't do the drill. Do the drill before you do this. And what you're going to try to do is this drill will give you a feeling. You're going to want to ask him, like, do you feel when he does this? Does he feel tightness in that hip? Because we're trying to help him take the slack out of his hip by loading it appropriately. And you might struggle because you're
Okay.
a hypermobile kid. You might be the kind of kid who can move like too much, which is another issue that we need to address if you're too mobile. But I won't know till we see this. But I'll also give
Yeah,
you
I know, like from a pitching standpoint, he almost has like too much layback and too much like
yeah,
scap retraction that it almost like ends up getting, like
100%.
he has a hard time being accurate because he's just like
You got
things
parts
are
going
going
everywhere.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about that here as well. But this is one of the moves to feel the right
Okay.
way to load, and I'll give you some more hip control stuff.
Well,
Hip control,
what is this one called?
man.
The
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Rear foot on the wall coil. I don't know. But this
Okay.
is one like when kids learn how to coil down and into their hip instead of just pressing into their quad, things really, really clean up. And so if this other person is watching too, I'm gonna the same recommendation for you. So that you can feel that move, and I can send that coiling hip loading series. Now, the other thing that's a good one, so like he doesn't need this, but you see how his knee is not going over his ankle. Another thing that you can do in your swing that is nice is can just as a movement prep exercise, and I'll send this, can you put a tennis ball between you put your foot up against a wall and you put a tennis ball between your knee and the wall, right? And after you have done this drill, you put a tennis ball under your knee and not under your knee, against the wall. So it's pressing against the wall, right? And you have to hold the knee has to hold the ball against the wall as you feel what it's like to coil into the wall as just a movement prep thing and learning how to control that. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are two moves for the load phase, and I have a hip control series that I will send you after this. I don't want to take too much time to go over that because there'll be some things there. Um, okay, so yeah, so let's see, who's this? Okay, so after we do the movement prep and then you do the drills, I just want to make sure we understand how I recommend that we do the drills. So this is actually one of the drills that you would do. So this is my son, and it's one that we need to make sure that he maintains on. You'll see. So there's his swing. Um, and he is committed to playing college, so he actually knows how to hit a little bit. And what we're doing with all of our drills is we like to put you in a constraint-based approach. So this is, I think, an important distinction when you're hitting. So I don't like he is as unloaded as you can possibly be right here. Can we agree? And
Hmm.
so what I'm trying to do is I've just put him in these, like he would have just done this to feel this movement prep exercise and some of the others. And then we put him in this very unloaded position and we ask him with a bat sensor to try to see if he can feel, if feeling that feeling from the movement prep helps him generate a higher bat speed score. And so what you do is you ask him to play around and experiment with different degrees of coil. Is 5% coil enough? Oh, no, not enough. Is 10% coil, right? If right to the pitcher was zero, is how much coil? And then there's a too much point. And the job of the bat sensors, we put you in the drill that forces you to move this way. We help you feel what that move is supposed to feel like with the movement prep drill. And then you use the bat sensor to like walk yourself in, right? So I like got you on the map. That's like when you're sighting in a rifle, right? It's like, I don't know where to adjust if this isn't hitting the paper. So we get it. So it's hitting the paper. And then your job is to do the drill so that, all right, what move do I need to feel to make the bat sensor go better from that position? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
And fully focused on bat speed.
In this one instance, yes, and there's
Yeah.
other
Okay.
instances. There will be
Okay.
different things. So like I believe so. There's like 10 workouts that I like to do. But in the beginning stages, I really like to do drills that help you get the four phases of the swing dialed in correctly, and they tend to generate bat speed. But there's also a couple that help with power. So we've noticed um, uh, okay, I'll say that. And then the other thing I want to say is that there's contact quality workouts that we do, and those are different themed. So, do you pull off too many balls? There's contact quality workouts for that. Do you ground out too much? There's contact quality workouts for that. And so we like to build workouts so we balance them throughout the day. So my son's on a 5 day a week hitting plan. He's doing 3 days a week of bat speed, and he's doing one day a week of on plane, and he's doing another day where he's handling mixed pitches and we're working on adjustability. So like that's his structure. He's in an off season right now. It might depend for your daughter who might be going into a fall ball, and 3 days of bat speed is not what we want to do because I've got to go face 65 tomorrow and we need a how to hit high velo day with timing, right? So we can flex in between those different types of workouts, but when we're building up a foundation, yes, from this drill, what kind of bat speed can we create from this amount of hip coil. And what I've noticed is that this can also be something you'll find these as we figure it out. But uh, when my son doesn't coil his hip enough, not only do his bat speeds go down, but he becomes less adjustable. So it's like if you're coiled
Hmm.
and as he strides out and he's a little bit early, he has enough left that he can hold it to fire off. But he doesn't have enough coil. He like can't hold it off and he'll end cap balls or ground them out. Does that make sense? So some of
Yeah.
these will turn into drills that end up helping you with contact quality, but you won't know about it. So until we actually do it. So like sometimes we'll be in a bat speed drill and it'll um, uh, I like to promote when we're doing bat speed drills, you got to go at 100% and otherwise they don't work, right? So we're actually trying to train the nervous system to touch its top speeds. So that's what we're doing. We're not only just working on your mechanics, but we're trying to teach your body to fire as fast and efficiently as possible in those mechanics. And if you don't touch your top speeds, then the nervous system doesn't get the stimulus that it needs to like move faster. But anyways, so I'm kind of talking in circles. That answers, I don't know, does that answer your first question?
Yeah, no, no, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so there is that. Any other questions about that piece on the load? No. Okay.
Does that make sense, Luke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the other thing with your swing is to talk about this hypermobility thing. So your load is swaying, so we want to work on doing those drills so this knee doesn't come over. The next thing that we see is with the stride phase. So as your foot lands, actually that's a tough angle to see. I can't tell if his front shoulder needs to be
We
low.
we were watching your master class video or whatever it's
Hmm.
called, and I think he is
Tipped up.
front front shoulder is higher than rear shoulder
Okay.
when he swings. Because like I agree, I guess I got to get a stand or something to have it more like chest height doing
Yeah.
the video instead of down below. Um, but like even just having him do some like air swings, like he is higher in the front.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of like leaning back
Yep.
as opposed to like pushing into his hip, like you were just talking about.
Okay. He does get good rotational acceleration scores. These are above 10, so that's good. So you are moving fast. But I think or you're firing your body in a pretty efficient way when we see scores like that. But when I see you in with all of this, like all of these moves, I think they're just like wobbly. So this isn't the strongest position.
Yeah.
When we watch you actually stride, if I don't have a line here, but if you imagine a line on the top of his head, you stand up. You see that?
Yeah.
So this is a what we call losing posture, and I will show some examples of this. But like the legs firing well, the hip is turning, but we're doing it while like because we're on a wobbly foundation, you're standing up, and you're going to miss hit balls this way. So what I mean by this, I'll come back to that in a second. Um, uh, what is this guy's name? Dr. Greg Rose turned me onto this concept at an ABCA convention. So certain joints of your body need to be mobile and certain ones need to be stable. So, like your sister, we were looking at her stuff and her ankle might not be mobile enough. And we looked at it and I think it is mobile enough. But, we got to make sure we have the mobility in those things. You have
Yeah.
all of these are like so mobile that there's no stability. So we need to work on stability for you to help you find an easier way. So because you got a lot of looseness going on, right? Okay, so in this one, there's a couple of different things, and I'm going to send you a couple, but this is an example of what we would need to do to build up the stability of your system. So these are called alligator walks. So this is my daughter. She also struggles with some stability. And the scaps are the muscles that surround your shoulder blade. Okay. And so I'm going to send you a scap stability series, but this is just an example of one of them. And so we take something slippery. If you've got furniture moving things, you can put those under your feet that slide couches, or you could take cardboard, a piece of plastic, whatever, and you do alligator walks where you go in a planking position. Can you see me?
Yep.
And then you push your your back out when you're in the plank. You don't go in a saggy position on the plank. Does that make sense? So you're all the
Mhm.
way out, and then you would do an alligator walk going down the cage or wherever. And back up. She didn't do back. She turned around and growled at the camera, so I turned it off. But then you go, she stays in that same position, but then you have to walk it back. And so we're just really firing up those scap muscles. And so like before you start to hit, like can we check the box of doing some sort of stability before we hit on like a regular 3 day a week basis, right? Does that make sense? Um, and let's see, okay, this is an example of some of your core stability. And I think I forgot to put another picture in here, but do you see how this is Glaber Torres? When his front foot lands, this black line represents where his spine is at. You see that? And then when
Yeah.
he hits it, he's basically still on that line. Does that make
Mhm.
sense?
Yeah.
And his head is not going up. And then if I put a cursor on his hip, it doesn't move a ton away, but do you see how it's going to the side? His hips are clearing space.
Mhm.
What
Yeah.
you do when you stand up is your hips crash towards home plate. I don't have a great visual of this, but his hips are moving away from home plate. If you stand up, they go towards. And so what happens is it's called losing posture, and you will top a lot of pull side balls, and you can get jammed a lot more. So this is a good position that we want to train you to be in. But if you're a wobbly kind of a guy and you're not stable in this, we want to put you in some like posture stability type of work. So one is a quick example. These are water bag posture peelbacks. So if you could imagine that, get this thing out of my way on the screen. Um, I'll just play it first. Okay, so when I land, I'm trying to be like Glaber Torres. I'm trying to take the angle of my spine, and as I rotate the water bag, I imagine that the back part of the water bag is a flashlight, and I'm going to point it forward. So see how it's pointing forward?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stay on that same line. So this is a helpful exercise to do like in a mirror. Um, I when I'm in the cage, I'll take a PVC pipe and just like put it where the at the same angle the kids at. You can put a piece of tape on a glass, some like object, and then what will happen? I don't know. I'm not in a very great filming setup, but when they do the water bag the first time, they'll stand up as they try to do it, and they don't because they don't have the core stability to be able
Yep.
to maintain that posture, or they won't rotate that bag far enough in front, and that will give them problems. And so
Yeah, I
this
mean
is
his setup is also more upright than maybe like I see other people more
Tilted.
yeah, like a little bit more leaned in and a little
yep.
bit more like glutes out past the heels kind of thing. But he's kind of more vertical when he starts. And I didn't really know if one was right or not, but
So
because like in
um
the ones you're showing, I'm guessing like Labor Torres, I'd have to go pull video, but like I'm betting he's a little bit more the same spine angle. He started at that same angle.
yep.
He just then rotated around that, if you will.
Yeah. So there are two different types of movers. Some guys stand tall and they have a lot of side bend, and some
Okay.
guys more like the Mets guy. Oh, the lefty.
Pete Alonso.
No, he's not a lefty. Guy with the big
No.
contract. He was a Yankee last year. Who is he?
Oh,
No.
Soto?
Yeah,
No.
Soto. So
Yeah, Soto.
Soto is not a ton of lean over. So there's some have more than others depending on like if you're a tighter, wider type of stance versus a taller, skinnier stance. And that has to do with your mobility and that those sorts of things. But the key is you want your bat should be 90 degrees to your spine, like when you're hitting the ball. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So you don't want to stand up tall and drop your hands to not be 90. So what you will see is guys don't have to that have wider stances don't have to bend as much to the different pitches. and guys with taller stances do. Um, but
Gotcha.
but you
Okay.
want to be 90. And so the key is you don't want to be standing up. That's the main key. So however tall you are, you just
Gotcha.
don't want to be
Okay.
standing up. Okay. So just the
Okay.
ability to control the this so that you don't stand up is something that we'd want to do. It's a couple weight room exercises if you have a bar at home that I'd also recommend. So, anyways, I'll
Yeah,
get those.
we've got a full setup.
Okay. There's do you have any landmine press stuff?
I don't have that.
But do you have a spot you could put the bar like in a corner or against something where you could simulate a landmine thing? Like that'll work sometimes.
Yeah, I think I can figure something out.
Okay.
So it's, I mean, if it's, or I'll just buy a landmine,
Yeah.
little collar or whatever, so I can do that. But
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. There's some like angled lunge work that you can do to build strength and stability in the sideways position that I think that he should start to
okay,
do. So, and at
okay.
13, I think that's my next point here. Is there are I talk about this all the time. There's 7 movement patterns. I can send you the link to this article as well that we want to do, and a lot of them are learned in the weight room. And so we want like you're starting uh, puberty, so we need to like hammer on the weight. So we need to, I strongly recommend that you consider like going on a weight gainer program. So when my son, this is him at 14, 6 months before his high school tryouts, he's 166 pounds, and we got him to 187 pounds, 21 pounds heavier because we taught him how to lift right, and then puberty hit, and boom, they were able to bulk him up. Um, and so you look like you're on the skinny side. And so it's time to pay attention to some nutritional stuff. So what I found is really hard is kids like him don't like to eat enough. Are you guys doing any lifting already?
He does not lift.
Okay.
Maddie does. Well,
Right.
Maddie does more like strength and or more like speed and agility kind of
Okay.
stuff, but it's got a lot of lunging and
Yeah. So
squats and
for
stuff.
both of
But
them,
Luke is not doing anything.
so he absolutely just needs to. And I can send you a simple progressive overload workout. It's not that complicated. But what we're trying to get to, and Maddie, these are different for girls, but I don't know if I can remember them off the top of my head. I remember some of them, but eventually what you're getting to is the weight room will help you improve all your power and your muscle stability, and these are the numbers you're shooting for, and you're not going to hit them at 13, but like this is what you're trying to get to by the time you're in high school. Can you bench press 1.2 times your body weight? Can you reverse lunge 1.5? Can you trap bar deadlift this? Can you do 6 clean pull-ups? Once you can check those boxes, doing more than that in the weight room starts to like not be helpful. So we have to do new types of stuff to make the muscle you have more explosive. So I like skinny guys can still be powerful in the bigs. They don't have to just be power lifters. Maddie, for you, it's can you do 1 clean pull up for a girl? I think the bench press is zero point 0.7. I made a video on this recently. I'd have to go look it up. I remember the bench press is 1.7. I don't remember all of the others, but there's ones for the females as well. And once you check those, like it's good to know where you're at because if you're under the right numbers, then you've got gains you could be having if you would hit the weight room. And if you're already over them, so like my daughter's already over them, and it's good to know that we're kind of wasting our time if we keep trying to make those numbers go up. We need to switch the style of training we're doing so the central nervous system and other things start to get hammered more. But I'll send you a copy of that workout for that. And I also the biggest challenge when you're doing that is eating enough food. So not for you, Maddie, but for your younger brother. We you need to be getting a pound for however heavy you are. You need to be eating a gram of protein for every pound of body weight that you have. Okay, so that's like the first thing. And so there's a couple of hacks for this. Your goal is can you gain half a pound to a pound of body weight per week as a teenage boy growing? Okay. And if you are not, you need to up your calories. So the journey that I started on with my son here, I was like, okay, let's give him 3,000 calories. I kind of thought like that was a lot. Turns out he didn't gain any weight at 3,000. He didn't gain any weight at 3,500 or 4,000 or 4,500. It took 5,000 calories a day before he could gain weight. So this is the biggest thing. And like literally, he did not like this. But it's like we tracked his calories on an app, and I'll go into the bedroom at 9:30 at night. Where are you at? Oh, I'm at 4,000, Dad. And I said, all right, I'm cooking a pizza, and you're eating half of it before you can go
All
to
right.
bed. And he didn't like it, but that's what created this. And so and now he's 215 now, and 6'2", and like he's got the body to go compete at college, which is what we're trying to do for him. But with you, that's what you'd want to do. I have the easiest way that I like to do this is if you have tasty crock pot recipes that they will just shovel out of, like always ready. That helps the young teenagers eat more. And then the other hack for breakfast is you can't leave the house without 1,000 calories of food. So if you take 3 or 4 eggs, 2 pieces of toast with peanut butter and your flavor of jelly or honey, and a glass of chocolate milk, that checks the box of 1,000 calories. So that's like one quick hack that you could do. There's other ones that I can send you that are a little tastier than that if you don't want to get bored, but something to try. But I would start to do that. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
You agree?
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
if you want to get after it, that's what happens. This is the type of stuff. What happens is every year with my son, we added 7 miles an hour on average to how hard he could swing the bat, and he can, he can hit the ball 106 miles an hour now, and he hasn't played a day of his senior year season in high school yet. So, daughter's the same thing. On the throwing side, she won the national hardest overhand throwing contest for 14U for Alliance Fast Pitch. Can throw a ball 72 miles an hour overhand. Like it's the same like rotating fast stuff, right? Is what we do. But like you can't just do drills and like not hit the weight room, especially if once you're a teenager. So, and this mobility stuff will help. So I think hopefully that helps you. Okay, so I'm going to send you some of these stability series, the overload plan, the meal plan, and what I'd like you to do is shoot yourself doing the loadings. Shoot yourself doing. I think for you, the just just do one drill for each phase of the swing. So pick a drill for the load, pick a drill for the stride, pick a drill for the launch, and pick a drill for your lower half, and then film them and get them to me. And then I might tweak it from there, but I want to see how you do the drills to make sure we're doing them right, and track your bat speeds. Did you see how I recommend tracking that stuff? Like with how we like to use overload and underload?
Yeah, and um I ordered the bats for him.
Okay.
Um, but Maddie, I did have a question on like because softball they swing like so Maddie swings a drop nine,
Yeah.
but like I don't think she can use the axe bats. I'm guessing we gotta like jerry
So,
rig something. But I wasn't
so
sure, and I think you said something about the lead tape.
yeah, you can
But
make your
I just
own. You can make
yeah,
your
how do
own.
I like but the end loaded versus the handle loaded, like where do I put the tape?
Yep. So like I got 10 minutes here and then I got a hard lesson I got to be in. But the tape goes on the end of the bat. So just like on the end cap, right? So
Okay.
just put it on the end of the cap, duct tape it on there. The key is 20% of the weight. I will say the research shows 20% of the weight, but with my daughter, who's 15 now, she just used the boy bats. So
So
um,
she just used, even though they're like, because what she's swinging a 33 drop nine, so
yeah.
that's what like,
She
I
was.
think I think that it might have been too much. And you can see girls compensate with weird things because the bats are too heavy, and that's 20% is what the research says is the sweet spot. Um,
okay,
but there's also like that's what I did with her, and I don't do it with the other people anymore. But it wasn't the worst thing. So, anyways, there's that.
okay,
Does that help? Um,
yeah, no, that makes sense. I
and
was
then
just
on
trying
that
to
for the
figure out
handle
like
load, put it above the grip tape.
just above the grip tape.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're just trying to create a counterweighted thing. And then so I'm just gonna say end. I'm gonna write something here. Crappy little demo. Handle in game or underload. But you see my crappy drawing?
Yeah, let me switch
Pin.
to how do I do that?
Hit
Pin.
and pin. Yep. That's
Okay,
it.
there you go. Yep. Let
Okay,
me
so
see
when
it.
we're doing bat speed stuff, we have the list of the drills that we're going to do on the side. I just use a notebook
Yep.
like this, and then the columns are an end load, a handle load, and a game or an underload. So
Okay.
uh, it depends. If he's is he what size bat are you swinging?
He just switched up to a drop five, a
Drop
31
five.
drop five.
Okay, 31
So
drop five. Okay, so
Yep.
um,
But we bought, he does have a drop three as well, but usually in
two.
the game he's swinging
Yeah,
drop because
drop
he's
five for
14. He can
yep.
swing 14 or the drop five still.
Yep, 100%. So, Maddie, you will just go end load, handle load, game bat, and your brother will go. He'll be the same. Once you get to high school, you go BB core. You don't use the game bat. You just go with an underload. But with right now, the for Maddie, the it's already a drop 10, and that's light enough for the nervous system.
Yep.
So that's how you do that. And then what happens is when you do 5 reps of an end load bat doing drill number one, right? So whatever, like the first load drill, and you'll
Yep.
write down your environment. I do it in a T, and I do that for the end, for the handle in the game, and you just write down your best out of 5. Okay, and then under it, so I might have a 50, 52, and a 53. Okay, on that first column. Okay. And
Yep.
then and then when I go to another environment, because we want this to scale to the game, you want to try to do as much as possible, scale this stuff so that it goes to a moving ball environment. So do 5 reps with each bat for each drill that we try, right? And then write down your best for each, and then do that workout again on a machine or a front flip or something that's moving, if you have the ability to do that. And that will help it transfer to the game better. And then when you do that, I just like to write that number on the second column, and it'll usually be slower. So now you've got one sheet, right? And it'll be slightly slower. So maybe it's a 48 and a 50 and a 51. And so now when I come back and train, I have an exact number that I'm trying to hit when I come back and train. And I don't have to like fumble through 37 pieces of paper to find it. It's just sitting right there. Some people want to do this on their phone, but you got gloves on and you're using the app on your phone and you fight with it. So I just like to have a piece of paper, and this is how I track it. And if you'll do that, you will add 3 days. If you do it 3 days a week, you'll add 5 to 7 miles an hour only every time I've ever done it. So so,
Okay.
so there you go. Let's see. I wanted to go over one other. This is for another kid, so I'm gonna show this example real quick. So when he's watching, um, get back to him. So okay. So with this example, I want to look at 2 things. So with him, what we see is he is presetting his load. He goes into preset and then he goes. He doesn't just have it flow. What he's probably lacking is guys that go wide that early don't have enough single leg stability. I'm trying to remember, Maddie, did I bring that up with you?
Well, Maddie was preloaded. I don't know that you mentioned stability stuff, but
Okay.
she definitely
It can
she
either be
definitely
just
has a tendency to like get stuck in that like
in between.
she's cur or she's
Turn.
preset.
turned,
Yep.
but she just kind of sits there
Yeah.
and
And then
then
that's
tries
right.
to
She
fire out
presses
of that.
she presses up out of it.
A little
Um,
bit. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So with this kid, when we see a kid who presets, it's either been taught or they've avoided it. Uh, they've avoided having a stride and actually loading because there's not enough control in the rear hip. So that's something that I know. What is his name? I need names on these things in the future. So sorry, little guy. Forgot your name, but that is something that I want to look at. So like all the stuff that I've been talking about with the other guys for you, like some of the same stuff applies. So still with the load, like you're in the right positions. So we're not our knee didn't sway over. Our knee didn't sway over. You are a little bit coiled in your hip right there, but you didn't do it dynamically. So I like to say it's like Mike Tyson doesn't preset his punch and then decides to throw it because it's quicker. It's like, no, the body has to rock into movements for it to be explosive. So that's what we see. But a couple other things that I wanna pay attention to with the swing, and that is the lower half patterning. So with your lower half, when I see a heel come up like this and not be firmly all the way in the ground, we might have a pelvic deceleration problem, and your pelvis is rotating too much. And I'm running out of time, so I have to cut this off really quick. But I want to show you another thing. This is an example where we want the rear hip to pull the back foot forward off of the yellow line. And when we look at yours, it goes backwards over the yellow line. And so you have a hip thrusting issue that I would recommend that you attack. So for you, like I'd still almost with everybody, I like to have at least one drill in each phase of the swing, but every athlete moves a little bit differently. So it's kind of like for a different focus. So um, with you, I'd like to put you into making sure we do 2 loading drills, 1 striding drill, and 2 lower half drills, and send the footage in of that so I can critique this. But we wanna fix this pattern, and I have some hip thrusting drills that I want to give you that I will send you separately as well after this to make sure that we get that dialed in. But that hip going backwards is like a spinning thing, and it'll hurt your swing direction moving forward. So I'm going to run out of time, so I'm going to stop it there. And this is probably going to kick me off in a abrupt way. So any final questions for you guys who are here live?
I think we're good. I'll get you some of the video and let us know what it looks like as we're doing the drills.
Perfect. And then I'll send you those stability series and some of those workouts, and we can go from there. Sound good?
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
No problem, guys. We'll talk soon.
Yep, see ya.
Thank you.
Bye.